Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson with an update. We have a severe thunderstorm warning from this cluster of storms exiting out into Grant County. We also have near the Morris area. We'll get to the latest on the radar right now as we head into the afternoon hours. We are starting to see a few of these storms become a little bit more potent. Now you see south of Donnelly here heading into Morris is a hail core. That's what this blue is. So if you're in the path of this storm, the main threat is going to be gusty straight line winds to 60 miles per hour and some hail that could exceed an inch in diameter. Let's get you the latest from the warning itself. 1-inch diameter hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This storm cell is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you are in the Donnelly to Morris area right over Alberta at this particular time, a pretty fair hail core is making its way to the northeast. It will eventually be working its way towards the Kensington area, and it looks like those reflectivities are getting a little bit larger. Also, for the Herman area in Grant County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Wendell, Elbow Lake, Barrett, and Hoffman for the storm moving over the Herman area right now. So this particular part of the thunderstorm cell, it's a line of thunderstorms here. This cell right here moving over Norcross right now and towards Herman has the ability to create some significant size hail up to an inch, but we do have an observed wind gust to 70 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour. So dangerous and windy storms now heading toward the I-94 corridor. If you're in the path of these storms, here is a look again at this backward C shape. That's called a bowing line segment, and it bows out when those wind gusts push in your general direction. Here is a look at those winds. They will likely be gusting almost straight out of the west towards Morris, so be prepared for gusty winds first and some significant size hail working its way into the Morris area at this particular time as well. So taking it a little closer, I'm going to switch over to a different radar type. The actual single site radar is what we call it. It's a little more high resolution. It might look pixelated to you, but it does offer Hutch a little bit more in the way of discernment on the storms here. So let me see if I can highlight that one quick moment here. Boom, boom. It looks like that radar isn't very happy, so I'll go to this one. You can also see that these thunderstorms are quite a ways away from any radar, but this is the Mayville radar up north of Fargo, and what we see here is a hail core heading into that Morris area at this particular time. We'll click on this little icon here, and it'll show us some ETAs. So if you're in Farewell, about 217, that storm will be moving its way right over you. Also, Ferrata and Villard will be seeing this storm working its way in and around 235. Be prepared for that particular storm to cross. So this one definitely more prone to making some significant hail out of it with gusty winds that could exceed 70 miles per hour. Here's a look at the closer radar, and here we can clearly see the hail core right over Morris right now. Hi, Sheila. Thanks for joining me. Is there going to be rain here in Tinta? I'll tell you what, it's going to be hit and miss where these storms form. So taking a look at the severe storm here in the Morris area heading in that general direction of Cyrus, we can take a peek now at what we have for road cameras here and see if we're seeing any confirmation of sizable hail out there. Not all of these camera sites have decent views of the storms, but we'll sure give it a try as we go down into the warned area here near Morris and Benson. So let's see. I'll turn the cameras on. I'm not seeing that I have a ton of cameras, so let's go, let's go to the Herman one here. This one is on that northern warned storm. Look at the heavy rain working its way down with the gusty winds that did hit 70 miles per hour. And then look at that. That is hail on the road surface is what it looks like to me here near Herman at my mile marker. Let's see, milepost number 36.5 out there on Highway 27. So that looks like some pretty significant amount of hail fell, enough to coat the road with some white there. So it's a good thing to kind of check these cameras out from time to time to see what's coming your way. The largest of the hail, though, heading into Morris right now and areas just north of town. So this is the closest view of this particular storm that we're going to have from the south. And I'm just trying to look and see if there's anything here of interest to us, which I say no, we don't see much of interest there. So heavy thunderstorms working their way through Grant County with very gusty winds, and we have wind and hail moving into Morris right now. Here is again a look at that radar as this storm sweeps through. If you do have a comment or anything here Let me know. We're asking here, Emily says, is there potential for tornadoes today in Fergus Falls? The risk for tornadoes is pretty low. Gusty straight line winds are going to be our main threat, along with large hail. And we do have confirmation already of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported here. So here's the leading edge of the storm. It's blowing right towards Cyrus. Expect gusty winds in Cyrus, working its way towards Kensington and Lowry here in the upcoming 20 minutes or so. Moving east-northeast, it's moving at about 40 miles per hour, and that's the dangerous storm there. Down to the south of you, near Benson, we have some thunderstorm cells here that are going to be capable of some hail as well as they make their way north of the Appleton area. So that's what's going on right now. Let's take a broader look at the region here, shall we? As we take a look to the north, moving into Fargo, are we going to see any showers and storms? The first batch of showers made their way through the area and missed us just to the north. Those are now moving through Grand Forks County. Out of Grand Forks County into Pennington and Red Lake counties. Garden variety thunder showers here. A rumble of thunder from time to time, but as you can see, the intensity not there like the storms are to the west. We do have very smoky conditions out across the region as well. A quick update on some of those levels that we have right now from the EPA. What you're going to see is a lot of dots on this map. These dots illustrate the levels of smoke. We still see red is very high, orange is very high, and purple is as high as it gets on the scale. So as we take you in just a little bit closer to the Fargo one, let's go ahead and see if we can get a view of what these values are. So for Fargo, it's showing me that we have a 281, unhealthy for most people out there with extended exposure. So limit your exposure outdoors. Now you go out into Lakes Country here near Detroit Lakes, and we have a value of 117, and it looks like it's falling in that particular area. So some good news there. You can see the trace over the last little bit that we've had some significant amounts of smoke there in the Red Lakes area here. 167 up in Beltrami County, north of Bemidji, with some smoky skies there. Grand Forks, the rain showers have moved through your area, but the smoke remains. 218. Look at all the green dots as we sneak out to the west out here. So if we go into the Devil's Lake Basin, a level of 14. So refreshing, cleared air out to the west is going to be on its way, but not for a while. In fact, some of our central Minnesota towns will continue to see the smoke for some time into the late evening hours, I'm afraid. So strong to severe storms are making their way through parts of Lakes Country right now. Morris down to Benson and Otter Tail County. Now it looks like you're on the southern or northern side of this line of storms, moving into Grant County right now. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts have been recorded with these storms. And I want to let you know that if you do have any updates with what you're seeing out there, I would love to have you take time to upload your photos when it's safe to do it at hutchesweather.com. Viewer pics right here. If you scroll down on the page just ever so slightly, you're going to see where you can upload your photos or view the gallery. So as things go on tonight, let me know. Cheryl says, just getting here. Is Park Rapids going to see any storms? Let me go ahead and show you where the storms are right now on the radar, and then I'll do a little Hutch forecasting here called nowcasting. Nowcasting is to take the trend and motion of these storms. These are the severe storms. Our models had these expanding northward, not just moving northward, but more developing along the cold front boundary and ahead of it as we go into the evening hours. So I will highlight this with where these are moving. Generally to the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So these storms will be moving through southern Otter Tail County, also out towards Wadena County, and the folks in Todd County, maybe out towards that Crow Wing County area and the Brainerd Lakes area are going to see these particular storms. So these will be the ones that bring the greatest chance of severe. If you're north of this line here, northwest of that line, it's going to be garden variety showers, and the risk of thunderstorms that become severe pretty doggone low. Let's see here. I got another question. Hi, Hutch. I'm in the Twin Cities area. When is our prime time for storms? Let's go to the storm forecast, shall we? So these nowcasting storms are going to be moving east-northeast at 40 miles per hour. So as we take a peek at some of the measurements here, let me go ahead and get my measuring tool out and give it a try and see if it wants to behave today. So the core of these storms moving over Morris now is about 80 miles from the Brainerd area. 80 miles from Brainerd. That's 2 hours, folks, before they make their way up towards Brainerd. But we could have some development up in that general vicinity as well. So some other areas that might see these storms eventually, it's 180 miles to Hibbing, so it's going to be quite a while. And out to areas in, let's say, Hubbard County here, if you're asking about Hubbard County. This particular line of storms is a solid 100 miles away. That's about 2.5 hours as the crow flies from seeing that activity in your neck of the woods. So let's go ahead and take a look at the path of this particular line of storms here. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. And let's go ahead and do this. So we've got this line of storms, and it's moving to the northeast, east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Whoopsies. I'm going to have to clear that line. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't think this is working for me, so I'll have to just delete that. So this storm here moving through Morris now with its hail potential, it is weakening just a pinch as far as the hail potential goes. Gusty wind continues, but there was a pretty significant hail core north of Morris. We showed you the DOT camera with the ground covered with hail, and now that will be heading on towards Glenwood and Alexandria in the upcoming 45 minutes or so. So that's what's going on right now. Let's take a look at that hour by hour forecast real quick to give you a quick live update right now on what we're seeing. Rita says, hi in Fargo, have relatives in Morris and DeGraff. Yep. And you know what? The rain is very welcome here. Hopefully it makes things smell a little better too. Peggy says, holy smokes, did we get some scary stuff east of Dumont? Yes, there is some thunderstorm winds out there that were upwards of 70 miles per hour. So that's definitely there. Emily, thank you for watching. And so again, the tornado risk, not real high with these storms. Let me go ahead and take a look at the velocities inside the clouds, what the Doppler radar is showing me with regards to the storm relative motion. And what we're noticing here, let me switch over. Well, I thought I turned that off, but I guess I didn't turn my line measuring tool off. Let me turn on this radar out here in Aberdeen. It is a little bit closer. Plus, it will measure right down the beam at the winds that are going exactly away from the radar. And here is a look at whether we have spin in these storms or not. So what we're seeing is outflow from the storm or blowing away through Chokio as well as heading into Morris now. Here's the leading edge of the storm winds, but notice the color here is green. That's motion toward the radar. So that is the inflow into the storm at elevation. So definitely some of these storm relative velocities here do not show that we have that spin, that's tight spin in these, but it is showing the very gusty straight line wind potential with the storm. And if I go ahead and look at the straight velocities on this, I might be able to estimate just a little bit here as to what we're seeing with regards to the velocities here. So let me see if this will pull these up. Let's see, we've got some 40, 50, and then when you get into this bright pink core, there's the very, very strong flow aloft. Now, this is going to be measuring off the ground. What's hitting the ground is right under that storm with the outflow from the thunderstorm cloud itself. So definitely some very stout thunderstorm wind gusts here, about 60 miles per hour, which is what the warning is for. And we're seeing some pretty strong winds here, a little closer to the radar, so a little closer to the ground, that are upwards of 60 miles per hour after the storms have already blown through. That's what the air is doing up above you out there in Rossholt, in that Roberts County area right now. So that's what's going on with regards to these thunderstorms. Let's get to that forecast, shall we? Let's go to the high resolution model here. In an update that I have on hutchesweather.com right now, you can swing over and get the smoke forecast. So the smoke forecast will be improving from west to east. We already showed you the levels out in the western part of North Dakota, and even in the Devil's Lake Basin are dropping dramatically. Now a forecast for your storm movement here. Let me see if this is looking like it's on. I don't know if I like that model. Let me look at this this one here that has been doing pretty reasonably. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so there's our storm. This model predicted it first thing this morning that we'd be seeing some storms moving through Roberts County and now through Lakes County here, very close to what we're seeing going on right now. Notice it's very isolated. This model really just keeping a smattering of hit and miss thunder showers. So most of us look like we may not even see any showers. Look at the cities, looks quiet until we get to the late night hours. Here's the development along the line here that could be strong to severe with gusty winds and locally heavy rain as well. Notice that much needed rainfall not hitting most of our area. We're going to get hit and miss showers. So for the cities, we'll have a chance for some storms skirting the area as we approach 3Z, so that would be 24, that's 22, that's 10 p.m. So generally, after let's say 9 to 10 p.m., you'll have an increased chance at seeing some showers in and around the Twin Cities, and those could last well into Tuesday morning with round after round. So some much needed rain to southern Minnesota is on the way. All right, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We do have active severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're in the path of these storms, they have a potential for very large hail in and around Morris, moving east-northeast at 40 miles per hour. I'll put the radar back up here so you can see what I'm talking about here. So that's a look at where those storms are right now. And we can see that the hail core making its way out of Morris and now moving off to the east is north of Benson. Benson, you are in an area where we got a blue box. This is not a severe thunderstorm warning in this particular area, but it's just a notification from the Weather Service that we do have a strong thunderstorm down here near Danvers area as well. And a pretty interesting feature on that particular storm right there is I'll take a look and see if we're seeing any spin at all. There's no, nothing really too significant there. So we're not really that worried about the risk of significant spin in the storms today, but we certainly could see a few of these storms produce some significant wind gusts. I am seeing a little bit of rotation not far from what looked like a hook echo, not far from Danvers here. I don't think it's huge strong. There's another one not far from the Milan area south of Holloway. So maybe there is a little bit of weak rotation in that particular thunderstorm cell. Our main risk, though, you can see this backwards C shape with me, is the burping outflow out of the storm. Gusty straight line winds will be our main concern, some sizable hail, and it does look like we've got a new warning now for Otter Tail County, south of Fergus Falls, Henning, Parker's Prairie. You are in this new severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like it's going to replace this one that was back in Grant County. You can see how Grant County has a couple of warnings crossing its area, and that's because one must be about to expire. Let me get the clarification on that from the National Weather Service as we take a peek at this warned area. Hail, not the main threat. It's under severe criteria, about 3/4 of an inch in diameter from the cells moving into Otter Tail County and eastern and northern Grant County right now. So if you are off in the Elbow Lake area and points north and east of there toward Dalton, that's where this windy line of thunderstorms. This does have observed wind threat of 70 miles per hour working its way in that general direction. And we see some very strong winds near Cyrus as well, as that's blowing its way out towards Lowry. So Hoffman, Cyrus, Barrett, Elbow Lake, all seeing a chance of some significant wind gusts from these storms as they move their way to the east. All right, that is a quick look. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings through Lakes Country right now. I will be back and keep you updated here. The risk of tornadoes today is fairly low. I'll show you the Storm Prediction Center's analysis of all of our threats today. So we can see the green area, which Fargo is close to, Bemidji, Brainerd, Virginia, Minnesota, Wilmer, Minnesota, all in the green area. That's a level 1 risk of severe weather for today and tonight. Level 1 means those storms are going to flirt with severe criteria, but are not expected to be widespread severe. We have to go out a little bit farther, and we see most of the state of Nebraska in a yellow area, as well as eastern parts of South Dakota and southwestern Minnesota. That's a level 2 on a 5-level scale. More severe thunderstorms are going to be probable in these areas. Hail and damaging wind will be the main threat, and we have a huge hail potential here as we look across this enhanced area in Garden City, Kansas, out in western Kansas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, as well as the Texas Panhandle. When we analyze what types of categorical weather we are worried about, we'll start with wind, and we can see some very good chances of very damaging windstorms here in Garden City. The areas in red has a 30% risk of seeing damaging winds. That risk drops down to about a 15% risk as we go into the yellow area here. And the brown area does have that risk for wind as well, and that's our neck of the woods. Now, as we look at the hail potential, similar area to where we have the severe risk area. So where we're seeing the hail right now in our area, that is where that hail risk is the greatest. And here is the tornado risk, and it really does sneak into Sioux Falls, and that's it. So the best chance for any spin will be on the far southern side of these storms as they work their way to the north and to the east. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson, reminding you to get the latest on hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere. Please allow my website to tap into your location to give you warnings and alerts for wherever you may roam. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook. I'll keep you up to date with the very latest. But again, severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of southern Otter Tail County are in effect right now. That also includes Grant County and points down to the south as we take a look at the radar here as we let you go. I'll go ahead and zoom back into that area again. So severe thunderstorm warnings in Lakes Country, southern Otter Tail County, all the way down into the Morris and Benson areas. Morris and Benson, not Bennett. You can see where those warned storms are right now. Again, Fergus Falls, you are not in the warning. They will skirt just to your south. But if you are in Dalton, if you are in Battle Lake, Underwood, you'll be in the path of these storms. Seek shelter, stay away from the windows, and know that gusty winds have already happened that have exceeded 65, I think 70 mile per hour gusts have made their way. Brandon, thank you. Is Moorhead going to get storms? You know what? I think we got skirted around by this first main line. The forecast you can see behind us is just for a smattering of rain. Each of these cells moving northeast, so these are not heading our way. If we're going to get anything, we need some formation of stuff here to work its way this way, and I don't see that potential for some time. We may get mist here in Fargo and Lisbon and parts of southeast North Dakota. And it does look like a more or better chance of showers and thunderstorms in the northern Red River Valley tonight, where one batch of very, very heavy rain is making its way through Manitoba. There was a big fire up here just off to the east of Winnipeg as well. So that moisture and rain is definitely much needed. All right, thunderstorm wind gust here, 70 miles per hour. That was measured there at Norcross, 5 miles south-southwest in Grant County, Minnesota. That prompted the warning. 70 mile per hour winds, folks, and hail up to about an inch in diameter possible from these thunderstorms. Stay tuned to me here on Hutch's Weather and hutchesweather.com. And until next time, stay safe.